the people, how you doing? So, we have it. The Mi 11 Ultra is finally here. Goddamn, it took way too long. I know I said that for a lot of devices, but it's especially appropriate for the Mi 11 Ultra. When did it actually come out? Like somewhere around April, May I think? It's here now, that too in very limited stock by the way. So, alright, I think it's time we unbox it and then we'll talk about just what the phone brings onto the table. And you know, for a flagship, this unboxing is gonna be pretty neat. So, right beneath that lid, we have a little package from Xiaomi. Of course, we all know what's gonna be in there. The SIM ejector tool, some paperwork of course, and then a headphone jack adapter. We don't have a headphone jack in the phone itself, but at least we get the adapter. Then finally we have a pretty neat case. It's nothing special, but hey, at least we get a case. And we get a lot more as well. But then we are greeted by the phone. We will, as usual, set it aside and check out what else is in there. Damn, there are quite a few layers if you ask me. But nonetheless, moving on, we have a 55-watt charger. I'm real happy that Xiaomi actually includes this one in here. Then of course we have our cable. This one is USB type A to C. Now then, for the star of the show. Well, I know I got the ceramic black version. It is gonna be terrible with fingerprints, but I know for a fact that this is gonna look incredible in B-roll. That's precisely the only reason why I went for the ceramic black. So there we go, that's all the stuff that we get in the box. Gotta say, I'm real impressed that we still get charges. I do hope it doesn't die out. So, that's it for the unboxing, and yes, it is indeed filled with smudges right now, and it is also unbelievably heavy. Like, it's deceptive, even with such a huge size, just how heavy this thing can be. Man, I mean, it's kind of expected. It is ceramic, and it's huge once again. It's got hefty internals as you'd expect. So yeah, the heft is there. My advice to anyone who's gonna buy this one, do not drop this on your foot, and God forbid if anyone actually drops this while they're sleeping on the bed and onto their face. Yeah, it's probably gonna be the end for them. But anyways, moving on, let's talk about the design since we started already. Well, yeah, I'm kinda sad that we don't get a matte finish, but I don't think ceramic has matte finishes as such. So like, there's isn't really nothing we can do about it. It is good to have ceramic, by the way. It is, I believe, a little bit more scratch resistant than glass, so that's definitely nice. It also has a more mirror-like finish, at least that's how I feel like it is. So overall, it's not bad. The finish is fine. I would any day go for a matte finish, of course, but regardless, let's talk about this camera module. I don't think we can call this a module anymore. We gotta come up with a new word, especially for this phone alone. Because this thing is just... is there even any point in calling it huge? That'd be an understatement, wouldn't it? So, yeah, the camera. Man, it's got 3 cameras in total, which is deceptively low in number when you look at the entire size, but there's a good reason for it, of course. There is an actual screen built into the back of the device so that you can take selfies, and I believe also selfie videos with the back set of cameras, and I mean the application is fantastic compared to any selfie camera, which is here, by the way. We do have a selfie camera, but compared to those selfies from the main camera, and especially the ultra wide for group selfies, yeah, that's quite the treat right here. I don't think there are many phones out there that can do this, especially not flagships. So moving on to the front, we do have a very similar look in terms of flagships. It's curved glass, looks great, very seamless design. I really like how smoothly the screen transitions into the metal and then to the back. One thing though that kind of bothers me is that the screen itself, it doesn't feel like the bezels are equal. I mean, I'm pretty sure I'll get used to it, but at this moment at least, it kind of bothers me. Now, speaking of the screen, we gotta talk about the display, of course. Well, this is quite possibly the best display out on the planet on any smartphone right now, specifically because of, the technicalities it has. So, the obvious stuff, it is 1440p, it has 120Hz, variable 120 at that, between 30 and 120Hz, at least as far as I've read on the internet. So yeah, you're gonna save a little battery if you have a still image on the screen. That's all good stuff. But you've seen that before. What's actually new? We'll get to that. It also has HDR10 and 10 Plus support. Really nice. Now, HDR10 and 10 Plus will benefit from really high brightness, and that's where it really stands out, compared to many other devices, to be honest. This baby here, it has 17 whopping 100 nits of brightness. Peak brightness, that is. But still, 1700s. Wow. That is the highest. I don't think there are any phones out there that can even come close to that. The second highest, I believe, would be 1500 nits that we have seen in Samsung displays. But compared to that, even then, 200 nits higher than the maximum we had before. That's definitely quite impressive, and I'm pretty sure that when you're using this in broad daylight, even on the brightest day, you're definitely not gonna have any issues whatsoever. And the second area where such high brightness is gonna be very useful is in HDR, of course. So obviously how HDR looks, how the colors and contrast are, I'm gonna talk all about that in the review itself, so definitely stick around for that. Now speaking of reviews, there are gonna be some changes in the way we do things. So I want to make a 2-week long review, like 2 weeks right after this video comes out, and that's basically gonna allow me to give my final thoughts on majority of what this device is about, like about 95%, excluding of course the technicalities about the cameras, where exactly it lacks compared to other devices, because obviously in 2 weeks we won't be done with all the camera comparisons. Some of them are gonna come out very soon, but not everything. Obviously, if you want to check out all of the camera comparisons, I would definitely recommend subscribing. And anyways, so in 2 weeks there will be a full review of this one out, and then in the long-term review and the camera review, that's where we'll really be able to discuss about how good the camera is, like my 100%, I want to say foolproof thoughts. Alright, now next up, we have the speaker setup. I want to talk about that. So at first I thought it was a normal set of stereo speakers, but then something felt off because the stereo separation felt extra nice. In the first few hours I've used the phone, of course I watched some videos, and well, guess what? We have a full-blown speaker set on top. Well, that's really nice, and I remember actually seeing that in the Mi 10 last year. It wasn't very loud compared to many other speakers at that time, but this one on the other hand feels very loud. So yeah, I'm gonna let you guys know my exact thoughts on the speakers, content consumption. I'm gonna let you guys know about everything in 2 weeks time. So now for the cameras, I mean that is what majority of the people are gonna be interested in, especially for this one here. So firstly, we have a 50 megapixel main sensor. I believe this is the largest in any smartphone right now. It's even larger than the 108 megapixel sensor that we have in the S21 Ultra. So yeah, Xiaomi is definitely going for the big and large in terms of numbers and all that. We'll see how well that translates, of course. Next up, the ultra-wide camera. This is a 48 megapixel sensor, also a very large sensor. Yeah, I'm expecting good stuff from the ultra-wide here. And then finally, we have the zoom. Well, this is, I believe, a 5x optical zoom with a 48 megapixel sensor, which is kind of the reason why Xiaomi says that we can do a maximum of 120 times zoom. It feels ridiculous to say that, because it's also printed on the back of the device. Yeah, you remember the S20 Ultra from last year? That was not very well received by Samsung fans and even me myself. I didn't really like the fact that they printed it. We'll see how well this one goes. The 120 times zoom, I'm not sure what to think about it. Like, will it be good or bad? I think based on that we can really, decide on whether we like the 120x printed on here or not. We'll see. We also have the 5000 mAh battery, as you'd expect. That is the trend for the big bad smartphones out there, the highest end flagships. 5000 mAh has become a norm, and I'm glad for it, honestly, because given how power hungry some of these cameras can become, 5000 mAh is like needed at this point, especially in such high priced flagships and so on. And we also have the Snapdragon 888. That's kind of expected. Obviously, it had to make its way into the Xiaomi Mi 11 Ultra. So that's basically it for this first impressions of the Mi 11 Ultra. It's pretty positive, except for these smudges. God damn it. Anyways, yeah, the camera comparisons are gonna come out very soon. So I know a few people are at least looking out for it. Definitely hit the subscribe button if you are one of them, and well, also hit that like button if you enjoyed. And I'll be seeing you guys later. Cheers.